Hey, welcome back to the Manager's Mic podcast. I'm your host, Paul Leon, and in this podcast, I'm going to talk about 3 misses that skyrocket toxic culture. And I'm going to be real with you as somebody who has been a sales manager in a couple different industries and currently a sales enablement trainer and MBA candidate. I can speak to this pretty profoundly. So, miss number 1 is you don't keep performance higher in the priority list. One of the mistake I've made is being very personable with people, listening to their stories. And this is a bad trap because I'll give you an example. Most companies, in my experience, will not judge you based on who you are personally. They may like you 100%, but they don't trust you yet. And they're going to prioritize trust with you based on the work you do first versus who you are personally. Let's say you hired a contractor to come to your house to fix your toilet. And you're like, okay, I give you $100, whatever, right? And instead of fixing the toilet, they talk to you for 90 minutes about how they went to the gas station, went to McDonald's. You'd be kind of irked. Well, it's the same thing with a company. So miss 1, again, you got to keep performance higher on the priority list first. And the benefit to doing that is once you end up keeping performance first, and you perform well, here's what will happen. Then leadership and others, based on the results you get, will actually then like you more. They'll ask more about who you are personally. Now, I do believe, even though I personally mentioned church, don't talk about religion, don't talk about politics in the workplace. Those are the great divide subjects. I'm not saying you shouldn't talk about it in the right culture, but just leave that out of the workplace. So miss number 2 is, now, I've never done this. However, unfortunately, I'm not trying to give you my wah-wahs, just trying to be real with you, is stealing someone else's work and making those ideas your own. And we're going to talk about this from the manager's lens. Now, I'm going to be real. Have you ever seen this show, The Big Bang Theory? There's a scene that I like where they create some new thing, and like Sheldon and the other guy, I forget his name off the top of my head, they end up going to the board, and the board's like, hey, like, we own 75% of the intellectual property on this new engineering invention. And they're like, well, that's not fair. And he's like, well, you've worked here for 10 years. Like, did you think that we just gave you all that money for nothing? And he's like, well, no, but now I'm upset. So I reference that scene because I'm not talking about when you make something for a company. I'm talking about when who you directly report to doesn't give credit where credit's due. So, for example, if you create a new invention for a company, new training program, unfortunately, that's that company's. Now, the benefit to you is that you learn that process, you learn those skills, and that will be and you can duplicate that. It may be in your side hustle or something else, but under the umbrella of a company or a corporation, it is an honor to build something of great value and associate that. There's nothing wrong with that. Where I think the miss here that I'm talking about is when whoever your manager is says, this is my idea. I took this. And I saw this for years. I suffered through this for years. People I train with have suffered with for years. People I know personally have suffered this for years. If you really want to avoid the pain of skyrocketing toxicity in your culture, just give credit where credit's due. I heard this idea. It came from Paul. I thought it was a great idea. I heard this idea. It came from Trisha. I thought it was a great idea. I think it has value. Just saying that, making that part of your routine, it's going to not just make you a manager, it's going to make you a trustworthy leader in the workplace. So miss number 3 is prioritizing punishment over praise. I'll tell you something my therapist tells me. I know that your life has value, and I know that there's a reason for it, because every day above ground means there's a reason you're here. There is no amount of punishment you can do that is minor. Like if you mess up an Excel doc or whatnot, there's always something that's fixable. Not all fires last forever. Eventually, there's going to be smoke. So I just want to recap this because I felt this was in my heart. I wanted to get it out of my system because I felt it had value. The 3 misses that skyrocket toxic culture is miss 1 is we don't keep performance the priority over personal. Miss 2 is stealing the work and ideas of people on your team and making them your own without giving constant credit where credit's due. And then miss number 3 is prioritizing punishment over praise instead of prioritizing praise over punishment.